Anyway, Ninja, or Combatter as it's called here. Yep, it's Ninja-kun Maju no Bukin, or whatever it's called. Except with different graphics, and the background is kind of screwed up. Like there are some like invisible platforms or something weird like that. Like as you'll see here, like I'll land on stuff, or rather I won't land on stuff, I'll get hit. But yeah, some of the platforms are invisible or something like that. They don't coincide with the background. But here we have Goifa, or whatever. Actually, it's called Golfier on the menu. Yeah, Goifa. I'm assuming it's meant to say golfer. But yeah, it's just golf with different graphics. Well, I say that. All I've really done is trim Mario's moustache and change the colour palette a bit. That's really all they did. And when you get to the green, it magically changes colour to yellow. So yeah, when you get to the green, it magically changes to sand. I don't understand that. Never was a huge fan of Nintendo Golf, but whatever. Rogue Brr is actually Rogue Brr. And this is just Mario Brothers with different graphics. Well, mostly. I'll say mostly. They changed the backgrounds to look amateurish. And as you can clearly see, they didn't even change all the sprites. As you can see, the Koopas are the same, and they also forgot to edit one of Mario's sprites. So it's like when you break in, he like magically grows a mustache and looks like Mario. Doesn't really make sense. But I think you all know how to play Mario Brothers. So let's move on to the next game, which is supposedly Warpman, or Aether as it's called here, which is, yeah, it's just Warpman with different graphics and really awful music. Yes, Warpman is replaced with a spaceship, and the enemies have been replaced with dots on umbrellas. I don't understand that. Why? Actually, no, I'm saying umbrellas. They're more like parachutes. It's like, why are the parachutes in space? I don't understand that. Anyway, let's move to the next game, FZ Formation 2, or Resistant, which is just like that Garden War game from earlier, except this one is a bit better. Actually, no, couldn't think of it. It's kind of like that game of Action 52, the one where all the asteroids are flying towards you, and you have to shoot them all, or nothing happens. This is a little bit better than the Garden War game, I suppose, but yeah, it's around about the same level as an Action 52 game, which really isn't saying much. But yeah, we go to the next game, which is Devil World again, except it isn't, it's actually Surface Fire. And this is basically Millipede with different graphics. The Millipede looks slightly different here. And the spiders have been replaced with tanks, and the other enemies just look like blobs to me. Actually no, one of them kind of looks like a flying saucer. I think they've tried to redo the game and add a space theme to it or something, but it doesn't, I don't really understand that. It just doesn't look good. I mean, it plays just as well, obviously. I mean, they haven't changed the gameplay, but still. It's enough of that. Road Fight, once again, is not Road Fight, it's actually Risker. And Risker is Excitebike, with different graphics. The music is the same as it always was, so which is, of course, a good thing. I'm sure you all know how to play Excitebike, you know, guide your bike to the finish line in the shortest time possible. I did pretty badly on it here. I'm usually a fair bit better than this. Can't really blame the controls, because I must say, the controls on this unit actually work quite well. Like the D-pad and everything, like it feels very responsive. Probably should have used the D-pad for this game, but whatever. As you can see, the bike has been replaced with a car, and the background looks kind of ugly. Other than that, it's pretty much the same game. But not much more to say about it, really. Sky Destroyer, which is of course Sky Invader on this unit. Yep, it's just Sky Destroyer with different graphics. Well, actually no, I say that, it's... Actually no, come to think of it, it's Sky Destroyer with a different colour palette, essentially. Like the graphics look pretty much the same as they did in the original. But yeah, just flying around, running wax all whacked on the Scooby Snacks, to quote the fun-loving criminals. And yes, I don't know what that has to do with anything, I don't really care. And yes, apparently we are blowing up some planes, and I've run out of things to say at this point because what can I say about this game? Hey look, I just blew up a blue plane! Yay! And on that note, we're going to move on, I think. Oh, that's right, I did record a bit more for this, didn't I? Yes, we are going to fly down a bit and then attempt to bomb something and fail. And then we are going to move on to the next game, which is, once again, Small Mary. Except it's actually Marsman. Starring Gurion and Malon, or whatever they're called. The, whatever it's called at the top has been replaced with an arrow. I think it originally said go, 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 or finish or something. I can't remember, because I haven't played the original in a while. But yes, we have to make it to the computer. And then that happens. And yeah, it kind of got stuck when I reset there. Harry's Legend, which it unfortunately isn't, because it would have been quite interesting. But no, it is actually Hoodle, which is pinball with different graphics. Actually, I'll say that they did actually change the layout of the table a bit. So can't blame them for trying. The table layout is a bit awkward in this version though. Like, it doesn't really work. It doesn't really flow quite as well as the original, I don't think. But hey, it is a little bit different at least, gameplay wise, which is more than you can say for most of the hacks on here. So this is, of all the hacks, this is probably the most extensive. Up there with Bicycle Race and probably none of the others. As you can see, most of the graphics are different. I did want to get to the bonus stage just to see if they changed the graphics there, but I couldn't manage it here. I would assume they changed the graphics because, you know, obviously Mario and what's her name, Pauline from Donkey Kong. Of course, Donkey Kong is not on here, the original one. And yeah, just playing the game for a bit here. I did surprisingly well, because I'm usually pretty awful at pinball. This particular incarnation of it, the original pinball. But Bandits, which is actually Biffa. I don't understand like how the mates just screw up so badly with the names on the menu. I swear it's literally like they had a different set of games originally, and then they decided to like change it up for a different unit. I don't understand that. But you'd think if they were going to do that, they would at least have the courtesy to change the names on the menu. But yeah, I would assume there's like a different version of the unit that contains the games listed on the menu. I'm not really sure about that though. In fact, I'm pretty sure Taizo bought a unit, 1 or 2 units off the seller that was selling this particular unit. Bloody screensaver. But yeah, I wonder if they have a similar set of games to this. I'm going to have to ask him afterwards, like when he gets them. Assuming he hasn't got them already. Yay, 10,000 points, I didn't even notice that. And yeah, I reset the thing there and it actually it reset to like Hack of Xerion. A bit of a preview for later. But here's Bandits, which is basically Donkey Kong 3 with really ugly looking graphics. I mean, it's like, were they high when they drew that bloke? Or were they just not very good at drawing? Anyway, Atma, or Atma, or Strafe, this is an incredibly boring game, to say the least. It's pretty much like, I'm not sure how to describe it, it's like, oh no, I suppose it's like Vectron, except less confusing, and even more boring. And I was never a fan of Vectron, but even that's better than this. And yeah, this is seriously one of the most boring games I've ever played. Like, I mean, this is probably. I mean, it's probably. I mean, it's not quite as bad as Desert Bus on the Sega CD, but it's up there. And okay, I clearly hit that. It's like, yeah, I mean, even the hit detection isn't very good. In a game as basic as this, they couldn't even get the hit detection right. And yeah, some of them move faster than others, and those take extra hits for some reason. And so let's move on to the next game, Cobalt of Sky, which I've already played. But no, this is actually Levin Action. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Levin Action, Levin. I'm not sure if Levin is an actual word, but I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be someone's name, who knows. But yeah, as you probably noticed, this is Stargate or Defender 2 or whatever it's called, with different graphics. And for the most part, this really isn't a bad hack. I mean, the graphics look alright, the music's the same. The problem, though, is that you can't actually see the bases that you're trying to protect. Like, they made them invisible in this version. I don't understand why that is. But other than that, I really can't complain about this one. I mean, it looks alright, sounds alright, plays alright. The warp things are still here. I was about to go into that one, but like I accidentally completed the wave. But we shall move on to the next game. Billiard, which unfortunately is actually billiard. This is actually, as you will see, yes, this is actually Lunar Ball with really appalling music. Like, even for these hack standards, this is pretty awful. Like it literally sounds like they were trying to screw it up as much as possible. To me, at least. It's like, how could you screw it up this badly, like musically? I mean, the graphics don't look that bad. I mean, it looks like they tried to like redo it to look like a pool game. And, well, I suppose it sort of works at the first level. The problem there, of course, being that the different levels have different layouts. But anyway, let's go on to Milk Nuts, or Penguin, which is actually nuts and milk. Basically, you are a penguin. You collect stuff, and then you have to rescue another penguin. And then I died because I'm not very good at this game. And then we reset on the Garrow Man, God Man, whatever game again. I forgot what the name was. Devil World, I think it said on the menu. But this is actually Lido or Lido. Don't know what that name actually means, but you play as a shark. Or something. Actually, no, it looks like a whale, come to think of it. And you have to reveal all these bubble things. And you do that to win the level. You avoid the evil fish that are out to kill you once and for all and make the red whale extinct. But you cannot let them. For the power of Greenpeace compels you to reveal the shape of a house. Okay, I don't know what I'm on about anymore. I've just run out of things to say since like the first couple of games. But yeah, it's obviously just Clue Land with different graphics. So let's move on to Space War, which is Exerion with different graphics once again. As you can see, pretty much the same game really, just with different graphics. I mean, there's really not much I could say about this one really. So yes, shoot down the enemies. It's called like Galaxian, except you can freely roam around the screen. I mean, I've already done a let's play of the real Exerion. If you want to see that, not really gonna bother with this one much longer because I've already done a let's play of it. So let's move on to the next game. When I shall bother to be called. Yep, it's tennis with different graphics. The crowd has been replaced with two Master Higgins and his clone that doesn't actually exist in the real Adventure Island games, and a worm referee. Not much more I can say about this. I'm sure most of you know how tennis works. So let's move on to Crypt Car, which is a bit of a deceptive title because there are no cars or crypts in this game. But it is Dig Dug. It seems like they tried to screw up the music and then just gave up halfway through that intro theme. Yeah, not really much effort put into this one. It's just Dig Dug with different graphics, pretty much. That's the best way to sum it up. Yep, instead of Toizo or whatever, yeah, I think it was called Toizo. Yeah, you're a tank. But I didn't see the name on the menu, but this is, I think it was called Find on the thingy, the 64-in-1, the Gunfighter, that was it. Basically, match up the one that looks like the fish that's running across on the bottom of the screen. Or swimming, rather, because fish can't actually run, but whatever. Yep, match them up. It's really just the easiest game ever. But yeah, that is not Binary Land. Tank 90, which is actually Future Tank. Yep, it's Battle City or Tank 1990 or whatever you want to call it, with different graphics. And there's really not much we could say about that. It's just that. Gold Digger, or Crazy Gold Digger. Yes, this is Super Arabian, which is one of the worst games of all time in my opinion. I'm just going to play the first level of it because it sucks and it doesn't deserve to have any more of it being played here. Yep, it's basically just that redone. So basically, instead of an Arabian collecting pots with letters, you're a Kirby lookalike collecting coins with letters on them. Don't really understand that, makes just as much sense to the original. Bouncing Man, or Bounce, as it's just called here. You play as a blob with a helmet, and you have to collect fire flows from Super Mario, cheese, yellow sweets, more fire flowers, cherry bombs or whatever they are, and more sweets and a money bag. And you could also open doors to catch these things, which were cats in the original. Not sure what they're supposed to be here. I don't think they're really supposed to be anything in particular. And there's also that other blob that tries to catch you but doesn't. And there we go. That's quite simple really. It's a pretty decent game. I was never a huge fan of Mappy, but anyway, Rugged Race, or X-Racing. Don't know why they called it Rugged Race on the menu. Yes. This is just Zippy Race with different graphics, essentially. Not much more to say about this one, because it's for those who've never played Zippy Race, it's basically just a poor man's version of Road Fighter. It's not as bad as those other Road Fighter clones I showed earlier, but it's still not a great game by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I'll tell you it's an average game. I did actually play through this game once, and basically you get 5 levels to make it through. Where you're supposed to go through the USA, get from West Coast to East Coast, or more specifically, Los Angeles to New York, I believe. I actually played it through. And you're supposed to finish as far in the front as you can. I forget how far I was ahead in that version. I think I was like 20-something. I can't remember. 20th or 30 something. But yeah, it's enough of that. Urban Champion, or Spa as it's called here. Yep, it's just Urban Champion with different graphics. Instead of playing as 2 thugs, instead of playing as a thug, play as a furry. And you're in the middle of a forest, punching out other furries. That's the best way to sum this game up. Which is, of course, Balloon Fight, once again. Except it's actually called their umbrella on here. Yep, it's Balloon Fight with different graphics. Really not much more to say about this one. I mean, literally, there really isn't much more you can say about it. Balloon Fight, in my opinion, is an awesome game. Probably one of my favourites on the Famicom. I mean, it's kind of like Joust, except better. It's the best way to describe it. But yes. Obviously the graphics are different. The enemies now have, use an umbrella as opposed to balloons. Never really fully understood that. And yes, that's enough I could say about that. And if we go to the next page, yes, they really only bothered including 48 games. The rest of them are just repeats. Yeah, if we go into Garaman D, Garaman D, which is of course supposed to be Godman D, but whatever. Yes, it actually takes me to what I think is the second boss. Not entirely sure on that. But yeah, this game does actually have bosses, and let's go to the time where I actually managed to beat the boss. Yes, the boss gradually changes colour. Eventually, you will win, and I didn't actually realise at this point that you had to walk to the right to finish the level. So I shall do that. And yes, we get to this level, which is actually the first level in an alternative version of the game. And yeah, you can't actually change characters when you're in midair for some reason. I don't understand that. It makes no sense. But yeah, pretty awful game. So, how would I sum up the 72-1 as a whole? Well, the controller itself is perfectly fine. Emulation-wise, in case you haven't noticed already, aside from the fact that it's a PAL unit, the sound emulation is perfect. The colours, I think, are a little bit off when compared to a real Famicom. But other than that, emulation-wise, it's perfectly fine. I mean, it's a lot better than what you would usually deal with NOACs, because usually the sound would be off, like the instruments would sound different, but that's not the case here. But what really lets it down, though, is the software. I mean, you get 48 games, 2 of them are practically the same thing, and 1 of them you can't actually play. So, essentially, it's like 46 games, and most of them are just badly done hacks. So, oh no, I really can't recommend this thing, because the software really isn't all that great. I mean, if this thing had a better selection of games, it might be worth buying. But I think you might have to pass on this one, personally. But yeah, with that, I shall see you later, people. See you.